Hey, this is part 2 of the video. This video's what I've done to my tractor since I've had her. Bought her a couple of years back now. I think I've had her about nearly 3 years now. Could even be longer than that. Paid £8.5 for her. Bought her off a collector. He was shifting it on because he wanted to buy a V8 Massey. Thought she was in better condition than she was. There were quite a few issues that I wasn't aware of. Bought her for about bought her for £8.5. I reckon I'm into her now for somewhere in the region of about 15 grand. But because of the situations that I ended up with her, I won't sell it. It's just a case of keeping her right, keeping her fit for work, and eventually I'll buy something sort of 50k to do the work and keep her as a backup tractor. Still worker, but just light work, just to keep her in tune and keep her looked after. So this is it. What have we done to her? Start at the front. She's got the LED markers on the beacons on the front and new headlights. The LED markers, they are there because I do like the way they look, but they're also there for a purpose. Pulling out of field gateways straight onto roads just gives you a bit of warning. The headlights, I didn't really want to change the headlights. I actually prefer the genuine ones, but when I took them apart to refurbish them, they were rusted through to the point they were beyond repair. So invested in a new pair. Headlights and all the spotlights up front and on the back are all uprated brighter bulbs. I do a lot of work in the dark, so it's handy just to have that extra bit of lighting. You can see all the decals look really fresh. They were all new on this winter. They're a genuine set. They're not a reproduction, which they cost a bit more, but they look right for it. Tyre wise, we're on 540 65 28 fronts and 650 65 38 rears. The front rims they're actually off a fire damaged Valtra because the rims weren't in great shape, so they came cheap enough. Being a Valtra run ZF axle, same as my 8830, they're a straight swap. The only difference is the nuts are slightly different. I've got nearly a full set of three. Both my front ones are both brand new BKTs. One of my rear ones is. My other one is a Continental. I bought a pair off somebody quite cheap. I understand now why. One of them was had an issue with it, and it actually, not quite sure, but it actually ballooned up in the centre of the tread, made for a very uncomfortable ride, and it actually got to the point it was going to rip the rear mudguard off. As I said before, new lift pump. Something else I actually did, I forgot about this until I started talking. So, pull these bonnet panel back out. Bear with me. Right. Yeah, if we look down there, the oil cooler looks really quite new. That's because I had down here, this bracket had snapped off and a couple of little repairs on it. Obviously, being Ali, I couldn't do that myself. I had to go to a specialist. Slide her back. Watch the headlights. Yeah, where are we up to now? Something that is on my list to do. If you look at the way the battery box is actually bulging out, it's actually not the correct battery in there. I haven't got round to doing that. End of the day, it starts the tractor very well, so you kind of wonder whether it's worth changing it or keeping it the same. On the back end, she never came with a top link. I don't know why, so I've had to buy it. It's Cat 3 top link, Cat 3 linkage all around. One thing I never said in the previous video, mine actually has the Dramone pickle hitch. Now, I actually have photos of this tractor when she was about a month old, and she didn't have a pickup hitch then, so that's something that somebody, not me, that somebody else has actually bought. Yeah, I've had some work done on the aircon system. I had that all regassed last year, and then after it regassed, it blew one of the pipes. Brilliant. So I've had to get another new pipe and get it regassed again. The spotlights up there, they're only wired into a plug at the moment. I don't see them very well. They just give it a bit more. That is purely a practical thing. They just give a bit more light when we're working in the dark. I will actually wire them up through a relay and everything properly. On the back, the twin beacons on the back. That was another thing. That's been a complete rewire job. Get up here, because these beacons are pretty cool actually. You look, they're really low profile. I actually really like them. CB aerial obviously, so you can keep chatting to people. What else have we done back here? Oh yes, the big lot back here. The £5,000 worth of back end work. Let's even get back in the light here a bit. Yeah, the Ford's 8830s and TW35s only ever came with 1,000 speed on the PTO. 1,000 speed gears, 21 spline shaft, that was it. That's all you had. I don't know why that was the case, it's just the way they were. But when she went in and had all the back end work, I sourced a set of PTO gears off, I think it was an 8730. So it gave me 540 speeds as well. It's one of them, the tractor was in having all the work done, so it made sense to have that done as well. That was your thing. We had, yeah, the exhaust manifold. That's in two pieces. You've got 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6 on the back are on a separate branch. That branch at the back had cracked up, so that's been replaced. The other big work that I did on the back end, well, had done on the back end, not taking, Cheshire Farm Machine very kindly did it for me. The brake seals had started to wear out. The guy bought the tractor off, he bought the parts to do it, but he never actually got around to doing it. So yeah, that was all done. Also had the PTO clutch. I thought the brake had gone. It turned out there was a pipe snap to the brake, but also the clutch itself, the plates were all worn and warped, and the actual clutch basket had actually, it was going to shatter soon, which the basket's like a, the easiest way to describe it is like a steel bowl that the plates sit in with hardened steel pins around it, which all shattered on these pins. But when I was speaking to the head fitter, he said he'd known the PTO pack actually shatter and these pins drop down into your all-wheel drive box and basically tear the back of the tractor apart. So yeah, I was quite glad to get that done. Go in the cab. Notice that's just a cheap mat from DIY shop. Just keeps it clean, floor clean. I don't usually drive her if I'm like mowing and that. I usually take my boots off and drive them in bare feet. Down there on the seat, we had an issue with the seat not working. I tracked it down to a little micro switch that had worn out. So just wired it into a bell wire. That works perfectly well. What else have we got through here? We've got CB up there in the top, out of the way. Back down here we have, that is actually, ignore the piece of string, that's just for the mower. That's actually off a Toyota MR2. Somebody gave me one to settle the debt, and turned out to be pretty much scrap value. Stripped it for a few useful parts and then binned it off. See the lid on the box, that is a temporary thing. I still want the genuine one, but if I find them, then it's a case of, oh, well, no, we don't want to get rid of the box, so you've got to buy the whole cab. Well, I don't want the whole cab. Alright, my cab needs respraying, but I'm not putting another cab on it. One thing that desperately does need doing, all the Super Qs have this trouble, rust on the doors. This all needs repairing up. That was supposed to be this winter's job, but this winter turned out busier than I'd anticipated. We've also got their non-standard, just the mirror heads. Yeah, just gives you, the mirrors, standard mirrors weren't very good. I mean, all the tractors of that age, you didn't really get very good mirrors on. So yeah, I think that's about it. If there's anything I've missed or any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I read up a lot on these. I love these big tractors. So any questions, I can probably find out the answers for them. If anyone has any more questions or anything else that they wish to know. I hope you've enjoyed these videos about my tractor. I've actually quite enjoyed making them. Hopefully, yeah, back on the grass tomorrow.